Hey everybody, it's me, Marcelline. Welcome to another episode of the Midnight Sessions. It's called Midnight Sessions because I'm recording it close to midnight, either here in LA or close to midnight in Manila. And it's a show in which I talk one on one with a musician, and usually it's a friend of mine that I know from the Philippines. And today we're so fortunate to have one of my favorites from the 90s. He was the front man of a really popular, famous band. And then I think he had the best mullet haircut and he had so much swagger. It's Stephen Liu of Rizal Underground, who now goes by Stiff because, when you pronounce it Stip Liu. Let's bring him in. Welcome.
Yeah! Hello, Los
My
Angeles. Hello,
God,
Marceline.
it's
How are
been
you?
forever. What have you? I
I
know,
know,
so
since
crazy.
2000,
And so
right?
you kind of took a break from the music scene also in the 2000s, right? And
Pretty much. How?
yes, so and then you
Yeah.
came back.
I
Nice,
raised
nice.
two
That's
children.
that takes a lot of work, a different kind
I,
of job for sure. Um, so and
I
then you
know, I
just
know.
got back into the music scene, right? Tell us about that. It's about 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, I've been, the short end of it was in 2017. I released a new CD. I formed a new band called Acoustic Blues Experiment because I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what kind of sound I wanted to do. So I called it an experiment, and I was
Uh
playing
huh.
with a acoustic guitar. So sabi ko, sige, you guys would know Bong
Yeah.
Lennon of Tropical Depression. I partnered with him, and we got some songs, pulled it together, and formed a new band and recorded all these. And it turns out it's very much in the vein of the Rizal Underground. And so I'm very happy with the Acoustic Blues Experiment. If you guys have a chance, if you're on Facebook, please like the Acoustic Blues Experiment. It's my page, the band's page. I also have a new page, my personal page called Stiflu, Stifflu.
Like it.
Please uh,
Yep.
press the like button. Yeah, and you will get a lot of information there. And so, yeah, in
Mhm.
2017, we released a CD. And I'm really very happy with that work. And a lot of people find it tasty, to say the least. And I've, uh, I've, I've toured in support of that. I went to the
Mhm.
US in 2018. Of course, I did some tours in the Visayas and north of Luzon, northern Luzon, northern Luzon. And then, in 2018, I did the US. And then last year was perhaps the busiest year of my musical career. I did the tour of Europe and also of Canada with the
Wow.
Tunog
Talk about
Kalye crew. So that's what
yeah. Talk about like
that's the short
90s
end of it.
flashback, right? Cheers, cheers. Yeah. So
Right, right.
so it's like a
Cheers,
90s
cheers.
flashback. Did you play like Sabado Nights? Did you play that hit? Did it? Because that's the most recognized.
Of course, it was the Sabado Nights. It was the Sabado Nights US tour. I'd like to thank all the folks who supported me when I went there. Um, did
Wow.
4 cities, two in LA, and one in New York, one in Houston, and where's the other
Nice,
one?
nice.
San
And so
Francisco.
you were supposed to come back. You were supposed to
Yeah.
come back this year,
So
right? Before COVID.
I know I was slated to go this year. I was supposed
Oh
to have been
man.
there April, May, but I guess things had to be moved. And because
Yeah.
of the because of COVID-19. I hope you guys are doing all right there in spite of the sudden surge that you're having. We're not doing that great
It is what it
either. I
is.
mean,
And so I'm so lucky that we're all like on Facebook and YouTube and stuff, and we're able to keep in touch this way. And I'm sure, Yeah, and I
I
think
know.
the hardest part for anybody who loves music is not being able to watch live shows. But hang in there. I don't know. We'll try to entertain you. Hey, I want to do a little flashback here. Look at that photo, guys. Look at that.
Oh,
Um, look at that. Look at
who's
those
that?
young
Oh
men over
my!
there. Uh, are the other band members
Oh
still playing
yeah,
music? Like, are the brothers Villegas still?
yeah. The Rizal Underground. You know, we were together
Oh, it was your
1 year ago today.
anniversary. It was the
Harley and
anniversary,
Sal.
right? No.
No, well, last year was the 25th year of the
Oh.
release of the self-titled CD, Rizal Underground. So, it just so happened that Harley was in town. So we were like, hey, let's get together. For those who like the Rizal Underground, we also
Hmm.
have a Facebook page. And you will see all the photos, the videos of that show last year. We did a gig at
Nice.
70s Bistro with Color It Red and special
Uh-huh.
guest, Wency Cornejo. Um, for those of you who like the Rizal Underground and support us, thank you very much. You patronize us. Please like us on Facebook. And if you want to see
Hmm.
all the videos of all the stuff that I and the boys have been doing all this time, you can tune in to the Loud House
There
Music
you go.
YouTube page.
Yeah.
And please subscribe to it. All our videos are
Nice.
posted there.
Okay, well, little backtrack. How did the Rizal Underground form in the first place? Because I don't remember.
Huh. Hmm. No, I do. As a matter of fact, do you remember the 10-hour,
Yes,
12-hour
course.
brownouts?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's when we were recording an
Mm.
album, a compilation album featuring four bands, namely Color It Red, Tropical Depression, my favorite band, The Breed,
Huh?
with Charlie Y. And of course, we needed a fourth band, and that was the
Are you
motivation for
serious?
forming a new
So,
band. I had just broken up. I was in a band called the Runaway Boys,
uh-huh.
which was my rockabilly
Yeah.
band, my college band. So we were performing gigs, and that band just kind of like fizzled out, and there was a new movement that you
Yeah.
could feel, in the 90s. I You were there, the 90s. There was a big calling. I mean, the 80s were a big
Right.
blur. Like, very, we only had in the 80s the Dawn
Yes.
and
And it's all
Identity
very
Crisis
more new wave,
were the
right?
main
That was the
proponents of
more
that
new
thing.
wave time for the Dawn and Identity.
Right. So and then came 1990, 1992. There was really a lull, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
the Eraserheads became successful. Radio started playing 90s alternative music, which was really maybe sparked by the
Who
the
knows?
grunge
Yes.
movement. Who knows? Um, right. So yeah, it was alert level that was the main catalyst for forming a new band, and the Rizal Underground, which was an acronym. If you put an acronym to it, is a
Hmm.
TRU. That's how the name was
Why? What's
conceived.
TRU? Does it mean something else?
Wala lang.
Uh-huh.
My best mate coined that acronym, and he wanted to name a
Oh,
band after it. So thinking,
oh, how
the
cool. So
Rizal
funny na
Underground.
una yung TRU before the Rizal Underground. Oh, cool, cool. And were
Yeah,
you guys friends?
yeah, yeah. I
What?
remember. I remember.
No, go on.
Sorry. I remember we were trying to coin a band
Uh-huh.
name, and Myrene was
Oh
also
my
there during
gosh.
that
Wow.
session. We had dinner, and we were trying to come up with names,
How fun.
you know. Back in the siguro 1992, 93 thereabouts.
Wow. Oh,
92,
You know, man.
more like it.
So
So
that
that alert level, we
Mhm.
recorded that album during the 12-hour long brownouts.
So you were
Our
inspired by
session
brownouts.
started at 2 a.m.
Wow. O, di parang ano,
Yeah, it's like walang traffic kasi 2 a.m. yung session
wow.
eh.
So did you always know that you wanted to be in a
Correct.
band, like when you were younger? Like a
Younger
like a
when?
little boy, like a little 10 years old or something. Or
Oh man, there have been so many sessions. When I was in high school, I remember um, there was a show in Green Hills. I went to school in
okay.
Xavier, right? So I remember I was like second or third year high school, and there was a concert at what's the name of that
Oh
uh,
yeah. Vera
Shopsville?
Mall. Okay.
Vera Mall. Vera Mall. There was a concert in Vera Mall by Sampaguita, and I remember crossing paths with Sampaguita and Gary
Yeah.
Perez at the time, and they were all dressed up, and they're like all jewelry, and they all smelled good. It's like, oh man, one day I'm gonna be
Really?
like that. Until my dad proceeded and
Of
wanted me to be an
course.
accountant.
So did you try
So
yeah.
yeah, you can
Did
say
you try
that.
anything else? Did you go to college before
You can
that?
say
Like,
that,
did you
and
take
then
accounting or anything like that before becoming a rock star?
well, luckily I did not qualify to be an accountant because I'm a thief.
Kids, I'm
Uh,
joking. Uh-huh.
so I went to UP. I went to UP. I stayed in the athletes' quarters, and we were not governed or supervised by anyone. So I met my college bandmate, eventual college bandmate Bob Miranda, the lead guitarist, and he had an electric guitar, and it's like, wow, man, electric guitar. So and that
Wow. So it
changed
was in
everything.
college. You're kind of a late bloomer pala with the band thing. Yeah.
Yeah, very late. Yeah. I was a freshman in college, and I was exposed to rock and roll in the dorm. So my inspiration in second year high school was all of a sudden um, inspired, or
Yeah.
got motivated to get into a band. So I formed a band, and we were
What were
all
you
athletes
what
in
sport? Were you
UP.
a soccer player?
Yeah, I was in the varsity of football. I was roommates with Buddy
Wow.
Trinidad,
Oh wow.
believe it or
So
not,
maybe baka
of the
that's what you
brigade.
would have been, huh? A football player. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, what happened was, you train for football, and so when I started in a band, they taught me how to drink, and I figured, wow, mas madali pa lang maging member ng band kaysa maging football player. It's like, why do I have to chase after this freaking ball? It's like, ano ba? And you're perspiring, and our games were at like
So
1
hot,
p.m.
yeah.
and 3 p.m. for the UAAP. I'm like, you know, fuck this shit. I'm just gonna
Oh
drink beer and
wow.
form a band. It's so much better. And guess what? It's 2020. I became a football player. I'd have a big belly by now.
I know, so cool. I mean, it was meant to be, I suppose. What is one favorite memory you have from performing as the lead singer of the Rizal Underground? Just, I don't
Oh
know.
my
Pick one.
God, there
Pick
have
one.
been so many. Oh, okay, okay. Thank you. Um, okay, I've been duly reminded several times because I've toured, no, a lot of people like, oh, you know what? I remember you back then, back then. So several times I've been reminded of this time when
Okay.
we were in San Pablo City. It was like a street festival where the plaza was closed, and there was a stage on the street, and I dove on the stage, and nobody caught me, and I banged my head on the street and on the pavement, and everybody seems to remember that. I wanted to forget it, but everybody kept reminding me of it. There have been a few people who remind me of it. Mayo of Canada. There have been this guy Carl Royce of from Milan who reminded me of it, and this other guy from the States who reminded me of it. So, yun na siguro
Can
yung
you imagine,
pinaka-memorable.
Steph? Imagine if we had social media and iPhones before. Buti na lang wala, di ba? Imagine all the wild stuff that you guys, well, what everybody was doing.
Well, you know what? Actually, I don't mind because it was very
Yeah.
memorable to them. Always something there to remind you of something, right? So that's one thing that they reminded them of me. So okay na yun sa akin.
Cool.
Also, you know what? I remember very much opening up for
Ooh, I didn't
Depeche
know you
Mode.
did that. Wow.
That was Yeah, we did.
Sige.
Wait, hold on.
Guys, this is the.
Uh, Yeah, it was a Depeche Mode
Mhm.
performed at the Folk Arts Theater, and it was a two-night event. The first night was
Ah.
Tropical
Mhm.
Depression, opening up. The second night was Rizal Underground. Wala
Oh,
pa kaming
wow.
album noon. So we were very, very underground. Yeah. So I remember seeing a lot of folks who definitely didn't appreciate us in the beginning. I remember we played
Mhm.
7 songs and we got booze after the first, second, and after the third song, wala nang booze,
Wow.
naging clap na. Siguro towards the fifth and sixth song, everybody was so excited and in anticipation of Depeche Mode. But we got an applause and it was very inspiring
Wow.
for us as a band,
Very
as an up and coming
cool.
band.
So let's jump forward to how did you know when you guys had to just take a break from it all? Was it just because everybody was growing up and had their own lives or something like that?
We didn't really take a break, so to speak.
Mm.
It all happened naturally. Um, I was confronted with you know, um, I was, I was blessed by
Mm-hmm.
having children. And then the twins started working for Hit Productions, which is a
Yeah.
huge production outfit for radio ads and TV ads. So they really got busy and tied up there. Harley became a
Uh-huh.
member of POT and eventually left for Saipan to join his wife.
Okay. Yeah. So life happened.
So everything came
Yeah. Yeah.
naturally.
So
Yeah, I wasn't ready for I wasn't ready for my responsibilities, and I had to take
used to
some
it.
time to get
Yes. Yes. Yes.
accustomed to.
Oh, cool. Well,
Yeah,
now your kids are grown, and that's probably why you're back touring and performing. Yeah. So
yeah.
when you jump back, yeah, when you jump
We're
back, like you're on stage, how did that feel? Were you a little rusty? Were you stiff?
Actually, yun nga, here
Okay.
comes the long story, no? And the long story of my comeback was I moved
Of
to
course.
Puerto Galera first to work for a resort there to manage a resort, and then eventually I worked in
Mm.
Boracay, and that's where I owned my craft. Slowly, being back on an island vibe, medyo I was very calm, collected, and so there were venues that were looking uh, for performers, and so I volunteered, and I was very rusty in the beginning, and I started to find my groove slowly. And whenever I would come back to Manila for the holidays, I would
Oh,
baliktad,
yeah.
come to Manila for the holidays. I would, I would, regroup with either the Runaway Boys or the Rizal Underground, and we would perform. I was very rusty back in around 2010 to 2012. So, and then after 2012, I came back to Manila to raise my kids, because my mother was uh, um, having a hard time because by then
Yeah.
I had 10-year-olds. So I came back and I slowly got myself into the groove until 2016.
Nice.
I got more serious about performing. And then 2017 came
Wow.
the
How
CD.
fun. So it was always in you. But then I'm also
Truly.
envious of your going to Puerto Galera and Boracay. Parang what skills in you were awakened there? Like managing and I don't know, the whole island vibe. Were you so relaxed and all that?
Well, of course, if you live in an island, and it's a beautiful island as Boracay, naturally the island vibe will infect you. And basically, you're just,
I know.
chilled out. And so much fun to perform. We brought in several artists, special performers to
Hmm.
perform at Casba Boracay. If you guys are on Facebook, again, please like the page. Casba Boracay, and you will see our exploits there. We brought in Noli Aurelio and several others. We
Wow.
brought in Chico Ipura of the Jerks. We brought in Pepe Smith. And we kind of like pioneered the live performances in Boracay. And so I jammed with these guys, and it was so much fun. And certainly inspiring, to say the least, to bring me back to that performance
Wow. So
groove
cool.
once
Speaking
again.
of performance groove, will you please perform a song for us today?
Cheers
Yay.
to that. Cheers.
Yes,
Would you like me to do that
please.
right now?
Okay. Let's bring out the guitar.
Okay.
Sige, tune
I'll,
in.
yeah. I will. I want to do this song from the one of the songs that was written by
Hmm.
Rolly Maligad of Coco Jam that we recorded for the Acoustic Blues Experiment CD. So you guys who are
Hmm.
on Facebook right now,
Yes, we
we're going to be seen on
are live
Facebook,
on
right?
Facebook. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys on Facebook, please go to the Acoustic
Uh-huh.
Blues Experiment page and hit like. And please also like Stiflu, Stifflu. Uh, the Rizal Underground is another one. Um, there's the Runaway
Wow, buhay
Boys is
pa.
another one. And yeah, on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe to Loud House Music, and you will see all the videos of yesteryears and last years
So
and
it's
future videos that
Acoustic
will be
Blues
posted there.
Experiment,
So
right?
here's a song by Rolly
That's what it's
Maligas.
called.
No,
Experiment? Is that the
Acoustic
last
Blues.
word on Facebook? Okay,
Yeah,
just watch.
Acoustic
Oh,
Blues Experiment.
yeah. So to remind people. All right. Okay, let me give you a
Oh,
little
really?
intro,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Steph Lou. Woohoo! Thank you. Let's do it.
Thank you very much. This one is called Kapag Ikaw Ang Kasama Ko by Rolly Maligad. Kahit nagtago ang buwan, dumilim ang kalangitan, di pa rin ako malulungkot. Kapag ikaw ang kasama ko, malayo man ang nilakbayan, sa paikot-ikot na daan, di pa rin ako mapapagod kapag ikaw ang kasama ko. Ang kahirapan halos di maramdaman pag narito ka lamang, di na baling umulan. Bago sumikat ang araw, sa ningas ng munting ilaw, di pa rin ako mapapagod kapag ikaw ang kasama ko. Kapag ikaw ang kasama ko, kapag ikaw ang kasama ko, kapag ikaw ang kasama ko.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank
Yes.
you. Ang galing. Your voice sounds the same, Steven. It's cool. It's cool. Like,
Thank you very much,
I
Marcelline.
know.
You haven't changed a bit.
Oh
You
no,
know.
no, just more gray hair. I wish I could see you perform because you're one of those performers that used to really move around the stage, and as you mentioned, maybe fallen into a mosh pit with nobody catching you. So do you still move that way when you perform with Racoustic?
Uh, it's very hard to say, you know. Of course, it's not the same, you know. It's like Michael Jordan with the Washington Wizards rather than with the Chicago Bulls. I still score like 50 points, but you know, only slow.
Do your
But I'm very, you know,
yeah,
I don't see myself performing, like standing up. It would not be me. Perhaps it would be time for me to
okay.
retire when that happens. I maybe perform for my grandkids, you know, when that time comes. In the meantime, I still enjoy performing. I still get my energy from the audience, and nothing much has changed. As a matter of fact, if you are on Facebook, you can like my page, www.facebook.com/istflu, and you will see my videos there. Or you can tune in to my YouTube
Loud
channel,
music.
Loud House Music, and you will see some videos there from my recent tour in Europe. Uh, there's still as I would think there's still
Yeah, I
energetic
saw.
performances, and I
Yeah.
would especially like
No, I saw Canada.
I especially would like to thank all my mates
Yeah, I saw it.
in Canada.
Ah,
Mas maganda
talaga?
yung mga
Okay, I'll
Europe.
search up the Europe. Yeah.
Well, the Canada gigs
Yeah.
were also great. Yeah, the ones in Vancouver were also great. Yeah. I'd like to thank all my mates who backed me up, you know, because in every city I go, I perform with a
Mm,
different group. So it takes a lot of sacrifice for those guys, and I really appreciate it. There's too many to mention, but you guys know who I'm
yeah.
talking about. Um, and I look forward to jamming with everybody else again, you know, everybody else in those cities that I haven't been to. And I'm looking forward to
I know.
being
It
with.
will happen. We just have to hang in there. So apart from being
Right,
the
right.
lead singer, one of the things you have done is you are always were an album producer, right? Can you talk about that a little? Can you talk a little about
That's right.
well, first of all, for those who don't know, what does the album producer do?
Basically, it's the album producer's responsibility to put together an
Mm.
album, a record, from mainly from booking the studio up to from the moment you book the studio, you talk to the band, make an arrangement, make your schedules, book the studio, and in the end, deliver the product to the record company and make sure all the yeah, basically that's it. It's
Mhm.
about the production process. So it's from script to screen, from the
Yeah.
moment you book the studio to the moment that you buy the food for the break, call in a break, uh, make sure the recording session goes into schedule, the logistics are sound. Like you first talk to the drummer,
Okay.
what kind of drum set do you want? This is how we're going to mic it. This is how it's going to sound. Please send me samples of
Mhm.
how you want it to sound. So it's basically in
Yeah.
coordination with the artist and
Were
making
you
making the
Yeah, no, I was gonna ask,
the
like, were you the kind of producer
yeah.
that, let's say, for certain projects that you worked on, that do you have creative input as well, like with the engineers and the band? Do they listen to you?
Well, there is the songwriting process, no. um, the record producer normally, but not always, come in after the songwriting process. So some producers are part of
Mm.
the arrangement process. So after you write the song, you come to an arrangement about how do you want to make it sound, where does the refrain come in. Some
Mhm.
producers are more concerned with selling the songs. Some wanted to sound unique.
Mm.
Some producers want the album to sound poppy, or some cater uh, to the tastes of the songwriters and the artists
Yeah.
in
So
particular.
what artists did you
Like for
work with as a
example,
producer?
yeah. Oh, my first experience was with Binky Lampano. That was my for all you folks who don't know Binky Lampano. Binky Lampano is perhaps the pioneer of blues music in the Philippines. He was part of that new wave generation of the '80s that really didn't get anywhere, but really didn't get much airplay, if I may say so. Kasi wala pang NU 107
Yes,
noon.
yes, yes.
That's probably why. Um, and so that was my first taste of because I was supervised by major
Mm.
label producers. So I learned kind of like honed my craft there. And then I produced an independent album produced by Loud House, which is Alert Level, the compilation
Mhm.
album that I was telling you about, where we have The Breed, Color It Red, Tropical Depression, and Rizal Underground. If you listen to the album, which is available
Nice.
on Spotify, so all the artists that I produce are available on Spotify. So if you tune into Alert Level, you will see that each artist, Color It Red, from Color It
Mhm.
Red to Tropical Depression, to The Breed, to the Rizal Underground, there are four unique sounds. And I was part of the
Nice.
production of each band. So I'd like to think that I cater to each and every artist based on how I see them and how they want to project their music. And then later on, I also produced an
Mhm.
album by Orphan Lily. And then my last creation was
Cool,
Acoustic
cool. Yeah.
Blues
So it's cool
Experiment.
that you can get to work with some projects that you're personally involved in, but you also have a unique vision for other bands that have their own sound, right? Galing naman.
Yes, initially I also worked for the demos of bands like I forget the name of Electric
Oh,
Sky
wow.
Church.
Yeah.
I worked for
Yeah.
with their demos,
Oh,
and
wow. Those
POD
are incredible
actually.
albums.
So yeah, although I did
Yeah.
not work for their albums, I did work for their with them on their demos because they're all recorded at Loud House. Actually, I have a
Recorded.
bunch
Wow.
of masters, recorded masters of those artists who recorded at Loud House. But you know what? I don't know the titles and I don't know the artists. So we're working on releasing all these
Dude,
CDs,
oh
and
my
we're still
gosh.
trying to
There's
figure
so
out
much we could do,
how.
like technology. Maybe you just release a snippet and then, they can guess who it is. And of course, the artists themselves will say, oh, that's my song. Or, you know,
I know, but we
but
have to get the
yeah, but how
permission of the
hard because you
artist
don't know
before we
who the
release.
artist. Hmm.
And you know what I'm
Yeah.
going to do? I think Francis Brew perhaps
Oh,
played all
on
those
In the
stuff.
Raw. Yeah, but then yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If there's nowhere else you can go,
maybe.
and
I mean,
maybe
they'll
not
remember a
radio.
few. But yeah, maybe you could just like
Yeah,
do little snippets so that it's not the whole song. So I think you can do that. Well, that'd be fun. That'd be fun
right,
to
right,
do.
right, right. Yeah, I've just basically
Oh,
because
wow.
they're all on DAT, and I
Yeah.
lost my DAT machine, so I just recently been able to master them. Some of my
Ooh.
tapes
Oh my
were
gosh.
eaten up. So in spite of having,
Yeah.
maybe about 30 songs,
Oh,
I've lost
geez. But
maybe
how
another 20.
exciting. I wonder who are on those tapes. Yeah, that's a
Exciting, yeah.
project.
I would, it is, it is. I've been in talks with
Club
Patrick
Dread. Uh
Reidenbach
huh.
of Club Dread, um, Apa Ongpin, and actually Eddie Boy Escudero, and we talked about the
I
photos,
know,
but
I
they're all
know.
out
Oh, I
now.
have to say, shout out again, that same photo, which was by Eddie Boy. It is what kind of jump started like this whole
Yes.
nostalgia trip for me is seeing all of that. And so, yes, because I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder
Really?
what's ever happened to these people. And that's when I started reaching out. So I love it. Thank you
Right.
so much, Eddie Boy. And then there were some
Ah,
pictures that I didn't even know he took. Like, hey, that's me at this party, diba? It's like, wow, really.
were you one of the?
Yes,
Were you
yes. But
there
I
in some
must
of his
say, I'm
photos?
not in.
Ah,
When he's showing like your pictures, that was before I was in school, and so it was before I came into the scene and discovered the beautiful, Filipino rock music scene. So it was before that. But in the yeah, yes,
oh,
for
there was a
me, it was
discovery
going to Puerto
period.
Galera Music Festival. That was like, you hear a few things. The first one, the
Which
one with
one did
I
you
don't
go
even
to?
remember. The first one with Joke no Pasilan, there was performance art and stuff like that. There was a fire thing. Is that the second one? Okay,
That's the
yeah, yeah.
second one.
Oh my god, that
The second
was
one,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
So that was
when
your
yes,
calling.
things changed, and then I worked for for a magazine, and then ended up at NU, but mostly because yeah, because I was watching
Oh,
shows,
interesting.
and then I go, well, I watch these guys all the time. How can I work in that area? And that's how it happened.
Right, right. So what were you listening to
Oh,
before Puerto
boring
Galera?
stuff. I was a nerd. No, 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 no. But we won't mention those bands because they're good bands. But in fairness, before that,
Right, right, right.
I do remember like WXB when I was like that was cool stuff, the new wave stuff. But what brought it back? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
XB.
been. They were also a very important
Yes,
radio
yes,
station for us musicians,
yes,
including
yes. So
LA
it's like the under.
105,
Well, of course, everybody, all the
99.5
kids listen to
RT, among
99.5
others.
RT, diba? But you're right.
Right, right. It was the only
There
FM
were other,
station back then.
there was like jazz
Worth
and all
listening
that
to.
stuff.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, so that's what happened. That's true. And I think we were all part, about the energy, like you said, it was something else in the 90s when you guys came out and everybody. And look at you guys now. I'm so happy to see everybody collaborating. You're playing with tropical depression guys, and I saw. Oh,
Right.
it was actually something else with Mike, I guess. It was Bilanggo, but with Zach and Kevin Roy. I saw this video.
Right. That
But
was
you know what I
way
mean? Like
matagal
seeing
na
all these
'yon.
people, and then over here in the US, I've just recently
Right.
been in touch with Bowie from Parokya and Wolf, all that stuff. So listening to what they're gonna
Right.
do. So I think when we get out of this pandemic, it's gonna be another explosion of awesome music. That's my
I mean, there's a lot of new music here in the Philippines. I mean, there is a medium out there now.
yes.
You can show your wares online. So these lucky kids, and I'm very happy that I was able to join this foray because uh, I wouldn't have had the courage to release a
Yeah.
CD if it was not for social media. Because you know how it was back in the 90s, if you weren't signed, you don't
Yeah,
really
now
release
you can build
anything.
your own audience. You don't even need a record
So
company if you just want to get your music out.
correct, correct, which gave me the courage to record my music, and with sponsorship
Nice.
from friends and CD sales, we were able to
Yeah.
somehow recoup some of our investment. And I'm very happy with the
Oh.
turnout. Life is good. Sad that we had to stop,
Yeah, it's
but
not a stop.
life
Don't
goes
worry. It's
on.
just a pause and we'll get back to it, and who knows, more inspiration. Okay, so now
True.
I do my quick round of questions. Just tell me whatever comes to your mind. First thing that comes to your mind. All right.
Okay. Do we
No,
have
no,
censure?
you can say whatever you want. You can curse if you want.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right, kids, go to sleep
Okay.
na.
What is your favorite word? Hmm.
Word. Oh,
Okay. What's your least favorite
music.
word? Talaga. Okay. What
Sex.
turns you on creatively? Creatively, Steven. Okay. What turns
Sweat.
you off?
Uh,
Okay.
Bad
What is your
vibes.
favorite curse word? Pwedeng Tagalog. Okay. What
Fuck.
sound or noise do you love? You like that noise? Okay. What sound or noise do you hate? What do you hate?
Um, I'm not ready yet because I had lunch
Okay.
earlier.
What a burp. Okay.
A burp.
What's a
A
burp in
burp.
Tagalog? Wow. See? I was just like, I
Uh,
don't remember. Oh,
ano
sige.
na lang, fart
Okay.
na lang,
What
fart.
profession other than your own would you like to attempt? Or you've tried so many things now. What's something?
I want to be a professional
Wow, dude,
football
that would be
player.
full circle. Maybe you can start a little league for you guys.
Well, are you talking about now?
No, we again now. Oh,
Are you talking
how about
about
now?
because I wouldn't mind
Really?
being a lifeguard, like it's like hanging out on the beach with my head up high, and looking out for
Saving them.
drowning
Yeah,
people or
yeah.
people
For
having
real?
trouble
Okay.
swimming.
Um,
Yeah,
cool. You could
yeah,
still do
I
that. What
do.
profession would you not like to do? Like something you'd never want to do.
I
Okay.
don't want to be a
Okay.
security guard.
Here's the last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I'd be like, Steven, you did the
And you
right
have
thing.
done the right thing. So far, it sounds like you've got all the right moves, Stephen Liu. And I thank you for your.
I know I have a perfect woman. I have a great family. I have my music, and thank God I made it to social media. And who knows what
Yes, I
20
know.
30 brings
Your
us.
vibe is infectious. You're so positive, and I can feel it. And hopefully, the people that watch this can feel it. So thank you. Yeah, you want to
Why
strum a
not?
few
Why not?
bars as we exit this show? Did you put your guitar away? Yeah.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yay.
Let me play to you something.
Oh, come on, guys, sing along. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everybody. See you all. Please like my Facebook pages, and please support Marceline
Thank you.
for her talk show. I didn't even get for her talk show, and more power to you, Mars. And hello to all, everybody out there in the world,
Okay.
in the universe that can be
Thank
reached
you,
by
Steven.
social
Rock and roll.
media.
Keep on
Rock and
rocking. Thanks,
roll.
everybody.
Thank you
Bye.
very much, Mars.
Ay.